Hey, this is Bert, and welcome to the second part in my four-part series of every vintage action figure and their best modern counterpart. And today we're going to go over the figures that were released in the Vintage Kenner Empire Strikes Back line.
No Skill Customs.
Now, if you remember from my first episode, sometimes this is not a very straightforward ordeal, so I'm going to do my best and offer you my opinion, but you might disagree on certain things. There are, for instance, moments when Kenner sculpted a figure to look like one character in the movie, but then they kind of painted him to look like a different character in the movie. So I'll offer you which one I feel is the most legit modern counterpart, because the modern ones are more screen accurate than Kenner tended to be. All right, let's get things started. Let's start with this fellow right here.
This is the Imperial Commander figure, and he's a little bit of controversy because he's clearly based on General Veers. Okay, his packaging shows General Veers, but then he's wearing this black outfit. So to me, I went with the color of the outfit rather than the original inspiration, and I found this guy. This is the "You Rebel Scum" guy. And he was available in the Shield Generator Assault, and he's officially called an Imperial Officer. I chose him. There's one or two other versions of Imperial Officers with the black getup, but I felt like his rankings looked very similar to this figure, so that's what I'm going with for that. Next up, we have the TIE Fighter pilot, collection number 65. They're updating him, but I think they're giving him gray stripes on his head, which makes him a little less this particular, the regular generic TIE Fighter pilot. Next up, we have the Rebel Hoth Commander, and he is Legacy Collection Build-A-Droid number 42. Now, obviously, this one just has a mustache. This one has a beard. A lot of people say that maybe this should be Major Durlin, but if you look at his outfit and the colors, I don't feel like that's Major Durlin. I feel like that's some soldier from outside of Echo Base. Then we have this guy. He was called Rebel Soldier in Hoth Battle Gear. And I chose Vintage Collection number 68. A really hard to find figure, and that's the Echo Base Battle Gear Rebel Trooper. Okay, and the reason I chose him, he's really actually, if you look at the sculpt of this guy, he's actually sculpted to be a trooper from outside of Echo Base, one of the ones that's battling the Imperial Walkers. But the coloration they chose really matches the Echo Base Trooper pretty well. And next up, here's another controversial one for the AT-AT driver. I'm not actually a fan of the Vintage Collection AT-AT driver, so I went with the Saga Collection AT-AT driver. I just feel like the helmet looks better, the body looks better. Well, okay, everything about him looks better in my mind. Okay, I mean, I guess the colors and everything are nice, and the articulation's better on the Vintage Collection one, but I just think this is a stronger figure, so that's what I went with.
Then we have the Snow Trooper, and this could either be from the Imperial Forces 3-pack that was a Target exclusive in 2011, or it could be the Saga Collection, the Vintage Saga Collection Snow Trooper Hoth Battle Gear figure from 2007. What you want to avoid is the 2009 Legacy Collection Snow Trooper because he has wacky wide stance. I'd seen other people consider the Black Series 3.75-inch Snow Trooper Commander. But because he's really based on a specific Snow Trooper, I like that figure, but I don't go with him for this.
Okay, then we have the AT-AT Commander. And here's where I use General Veers. And for this figure, for the AT-AT Commander, you want Vintage Collection number 5. Moving down a row, that brings us to Hawth Han Solo. There's a lot of Hawth Han Solos out there. There's blue ones, there's grayish brown ones. I use this one because the goggles match the best. You can take the goggles and put them over his face, or you can put them up there on his hat, which matches how he has them in the original vintage figure. So that puts you at Vintage Collection 2010 9-pack. There was this giant pack of figures, and he was in that. Next up, there's Hoth Leia, and there's a couple different versions of her, and you might want to get this newer one with the photo real outfit. So this is Vintage Collection number 2, actually, but this is the 2019 repaint. So I think you should prefer that one. Next up, Han Solo in Bespin gear. The best Bespin Han Solo. I would say is vintage collection number 50, but you want to find the 2020 version. Next after that is Luke Skywalker in his Bespin gear. Now, some people would say that the best version of that is the, I think it's 2020, maybe it's 2019 version, where he's got photoreal. I kind of agree. Sometimes I like that one, sometimes I don't. This is actually the still vintage collection number 4, but this is before the photoreal, so this is probably around 2010, this figure. All right, next up, Yoda. And Yoda came in the Cave of Evil Target Vintage Collection 3-pack. Something good had to come out of that 3-pack that no one asked for. And I think it's this Yoda. I think he's a pretty decent sculpt. There's some other ones that are close, but I like him just fine. Then we have R2-D2 with the sensor scope. Now, I got to admit, none of these figures so far have been customized, okay? Part of the idea of this video is that nothing's customized here. This is exactly how they come. But, you know, I broke down, I mean, not like this week or anything, but a long time ago, and every single R2-D2 that I had that had like the glowing light where you shine a light through here and his eyeball glows blue, every single one like that, I painted the eyeball black because he never does that in the movie and it drove me nuts. So, anyways, vintage original trilogy collection R2-D2 with extension arm works pretty good because he's got the sensor scope that sticks up there. All right, next up, because I love controversy, C-3PO with removable limbs. I'm actually going with an accessory here, not an actual figure. And that is the Saga Chewbacca Cloud City Capture figure came with, there's a couple other versions of him, but he came with C-3PO parts. And really, if I was going to put any C-3PO in a bag on Chewbacca's back, this would be it. So that's what, to me, C-3PO with the removable parts is all about. Now for a very sad story, and that is 2-1B hasn't been remade in a Empire Strikes Back style since the Power of the Force days. Okay, actually, he still has the right shine though. I did a whole video about him, so I'm not going to get into him too much. All right, then there's FX7, and you know what? Even though he's old, this has got to be one of the very best Power of the Jedi figures that they ever made. Just fantastic. Totally holds up. Really nice figure. They've re-released him a couple times. All right. Here's another Luke Skywalker figure. This one is Luke Skywalker, obviously in Hoth gear. For Luke in Hoth gear, you want to get Vintage Collection 95, who is being re-released this year. So I would hold out and wait for that one. It's a little disappointing that you either have to have goggles and scarf over his mouth to have the scarf hanging down like this one, or he has no scarf hanging down. So that's a disappointment. I feel like, I don't know, maybe they'll never fix that. I don't know. That'd be sad. Keeps me up at night. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the bounty hunters here. All right, there we have Boba Fett. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get some light down here. Now we're talking. Oh, I overdid it. All right, there's Boba Fett. And if you might have seen my video where I go over this one. Now, he's really out of order because Boba Fett, all these figures we've been talking about recently are all Empire Strikes Back figures. But the original vintage Kenner Boba Fett was actually released on a Star Wars card back, if you didn't know that. Okay, and Boba Fett can be found in Vintage Collection number 186. And the reason, even though he made his first film appearance in Empire Strikes Back, I'm going with the Return of the Jedi one because the figure is based on his prototype, and the prototype just looks a lot more like the Jedi one with the red gauntlets there. So that's why I'm going with the Return of the Jedi one. Plus, he's just so much better than the Vintage Collection Empire style Boba Fett. Next is Bosk. Gotta love Bosk. All right, is this an appropriate time to do a shout out to one of my favorite channels, Bosk's Bounty? Hi, Bosk Bounty. Okay, this Bosk is the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection. Really fantastic figure. Okay, I can actually picture them doing him a little bit better. I just feel like he could feel lankier. I feel like in the movie he was kind of tall and skinny. All right, next up, IG-88. And IG-88 can be best found in the Vintage Saga Collection IG-88 figure. Or he was also released in one of those special action figure sets, I think in the 9-pack. Okay, here's another situation where I do not have the very best version of the figure. This is the vintage Zuckus toy, but actually the character's real name is Forlam. And so Forlam in the back there, the best, this is the 30th anniversary collection version, but he's not the best, I'm sorry to say. The best version of Forlam would be the Droid Depot Forlam from Disney World, but I have not acquired one of those yet. Then we have this guy. In the vintage toy, he was Forlam, but actually he's called Zuckus, okay, if you didn't know that story. And the best Zuckus figure is this one from the Legacy Collection, Build-A-Droid number 54. Then we have Lando smiling here. Hey, Lando. And Lando Calrissian, totally in need of update, and he's getting that update this year. The one I have here is the Vintage Original Trilogy Collection one, but in fall of 2021, there will be another one. So I would hold out for that one, because that one really looks amazing. Just looks like a Black Series figure, but apparently shrunk down. It's just really nice looking figure. I hope the ones that come in the mail look like that. Then we have Leia Organa in her Bespin gown. Best version of that is Vintage Collection number 111. All right, now time for some more controversy. Okay, this one really tempted me to do some customizing, okay, because I got a special custom where you can pop them apart and put this apron on this guy, and that would be the perfect update. But Hasbro didn't do it, so I'm just leaving both these guys here. The other option would have been to put the Power of the Force 2 on there, which would have been, I think that would have been criminal, personally. He's from the Legacy Collection. Then we have Dengar. Actually, Dengar is the character that kicked off the Vintage Collection. Vintage Collection number 1. Just a really, really fantastic figure. Absolutely love that figure. Moving on down, Lobot. Okay, and Lobot, a lot of people complain that he hasn't gotten an update. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty satisfied with this Original Trilogy Collection one, Original Trilogy Collection number 20. Okay, I mean, if they made an update, I'd buy it. Lobot's one of my favorites, but there's so many other figures I'd like to see them do first. All right, then we have the Cloud Car Pilot. The best version of him is Vintage Collection number 11. Then we have the Bespin Security Guard. And the best version of him is the Legacy Collection Cloud City Wingguard Build-A-Droid number 50. And unfortunately, when it comes time for the white Bespin Guard, he could really use an update. They never really made one in the Legacy Collection. The white guard in the Legacy Collection actually is a weird alien with a wacky forehead. So the best version of the Bespin Security Guard, version A, is this Power of the Jedi version. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. Tune in soon for the third part, which will be where I go over every vintage Return of the Jedi action figure and its modern counterpart, and then finally every Power of the Force 1 figure. We're talking last 17, 1985, whatever you want to call them, that series. So like and subscribe, and you'll know exactly when those videos come out. I'll see you then.